Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out of the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy and Rory Luke, and this is our biggest episode to date.
It is.
We did it. We had a guy on the podcast that has 46 world records, 14 mustard belt championships, the hard-boiled egg world record. We get into all of it with Joey Jaws CHESTNUT. Honestly, the coolest interview I think we've done. Definitely the most well-known person that we've had on the podcast. It was incredible. The guy literally came over to Luffy, your house. Like, he came over to your house. Shout out to Michael Corciani also with Fat Boys Pizza for putting that together. It was just cool for him. He literally came up in the studio and acted like he was had been our boy for a long, long time, and just a super nice guy, great competitor, a lot of great conversation, and shout out to Joey CHESTNUT. He didn't quite get the job done, but we'll kind of get to that.
Yeah, John, that was my question for you. How do you feel about jinxing him?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. LSU, hard loss. Me and Luffy sat next to each other at the game on Saturday night. Hard loss to the Arkansas Razorbacks. And the Saints lost as well because we don't have a kicker. We're going to get to all of it. But first, before we do all that, I want to give a huge shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network. Boot Crew Media is what makes it happen. The content flying around this time of year. We're getting into the holiday season. A lot of articles about the culture that goes on during the holiday season in Louisiana. Sports are fantastic right now. LSU basketball tonight, as we record this Monday, just picked up their third win of the season. The Tigers are starting out. Baseball season is right around the corner. You're not going to want to miss all the content on bootcrewmedia.com. Make sure to follow them on social media at boot_crew_media and online at bootcrewmedia.com. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. He is the best to ever do it. I kind of have a bone to pick with Blaine because I saw his little brother on Saturday, and I said, hey, where was Blaine Loop? And you know what he told me? Because he was supposed to come to the tailgate. I mentioned that on the podcast last week. You know what he told me?
What did he tell you?
He was working. He was working. He said, I said, why did Blaine not come in? He called me. He said he was coming. He said, dude, he had to work. He had to get that grind in. And what else would you expect from Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty? If Blaine Loop is willing to miss a tailgate to work, you know that guy means business. He wants you to call or text him at any time at 504-858-0031. If you want to buy a home, sell a home, rent out a home, or find you somewhere to rent, make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031. All righty. Let's get to Joey CHESTNUT. Joey Jaws, the Glizzy Gladiator. And honestly,
greatest athlete of all time.
The GOAT. And honestly, I think you can tell how excited I was in this interview. Whenever we recorded. We recorded last Friday. The competition was on Saturday, so we'll talk about kind of the results after the interview. Here's Joey. All righty. This might be the coolest interview we've ever done on the Out the Box show. We've had many guests come on, but no world champions at anything, not even close to that. We have a very special guest in studio. He's in town. Some know him as the Glizzy Gladiator. Some know him as the 14-time Nathan's Hot Dog World Champion. We have Joey Jaws CHESTNUT in studio. He's in town for the Fat Boys Pizza Competitive Eating Challenge. It is tomorrow, Saturday. We're recording this on a Friday. And his record for the last time that they did this competition, I believe it was like a year ago, was 6.5 slices of their 2-foot-long pizza. So, Joey, let me ask you this to go ahead and start off. Competition's tomorrow. What's the goal?
Oh, I'm trying to win.
And how are you preparing?
Oh, so yeah, today I'm fasting a little bit, drinking liquids, but I had a couple of Acme oysters earlier today, and
a couple,
like a dozen.
Okay.
But I'll try to go into the contest empty, loose, and hungry. So I already know what the pizza tastes like. So I feel like I'm going to be able to do better than I did last time.
So, and we were talking before this. Yesterday, you had you tried to beat it's essentially the Joey Jaws Chestnut Challenge at Fat Boys, right?
Well, he didn't really try. He did beat it.
No, he beat his own record, right? So you got a taste. Does that does that short eating spurt, does that help you prepare for the 10-minute challenge?
Oh, absolutely. It's I know what I'm going to get. I know what I'm getting into. I can find my rhythm when I'm eating, even though that was only 40 seconds or less than 40 seconds. I know that the first minute's usually kind of hard for me because it takes me a little bit of time to find my rhythm. But after that practice, I know I'll be able to get in that rhythm a little bit quickly, a little bit faster, and just stay calm.
So a while back, 4th of July, that I feel like that's almost like the Super Bowl of competitive eating, right? Wait, you're looking at me.
Absolutely, yeah, dude. It's like that's like my contest. That's like I'll manipulate my body. I'll lose weight just for that contest. I'll run. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure I eat more hot dogs.
So this past year, you ate 76 hot dog and buns. And we actually recorded an episode that week after the contest, and we discussed the hot dog eating contest. And I did some math, and I wanted to see what is the craziest comparison, to how much you've eaten, right? So mine, as they relate to sports, 76 hot dogs and buns is like 2.5 basketballs. It's like eating 87 baseballs, and it's like the third of a human. So essentially, you ate a third of the average human's weight in hot dogs.
I don't think so.
Maybe my math's wrong.
I mean, it's only I think the weight of the hot dogs and buns is only 17 pounds.
Max.
You're talking about mass.
Just size.
So you're talking about volume.
Yes. Have you heard crazy comparisons like that, or is it just me that thinks about that?
I didn't think that. At least you can compare it to babies. The baby.
Well, babies, it would at least be one whole one.
Oh, absolutely. But it was a lot of hot dogs, and it's a fair comparison. People talk about how far a marathon is. I mean, it's ridiculous how far people are able to push their bodies, and I figured out how to push myself, and I love it.
I don't think it's fair comparing you to just a regular marathon runner, though. I think it'd be the best of the best ultra marathon runner. It's not just
those guys are crazy, and I'm kind of crazy, and you have to be willing to be crazy in order to push yourself to that extra crazy mile.
So when did you know you were different? Better than everyone else, so much better than everyone else.
The best in the world, to be exact.
Well, growing up, I was actually kind of ashamed of it. I was never full, and if I was eating dinner with my family, my brothers they would get mad at me if I was eating fast. They wouldn't be able to get seconds, and it was something I grew up I was always aware that I wasn't going to get full. And then when I was in college, my little brother knew I was the best eater in the family, so he signed me up to my first contest. I was 21 years old, and I was like, oh my god, so they gave me a free hotel room at the casino, and I was 21, so I was like, I'll do it. And I ended up tying for third. So they paid me $500 to eat lobster. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting paid to eat. This is nuts. And I fell in love with it.
So speaking about you growing up, what is your favorite food, but your favorite home cooked meal? What's something like that? I feel like people probably ask you your favorite food all the time, and I feel like you're obligated to say hot dogs. But
no, I love hot dogs. I still love going to a baseball game. I'm not tired of them. I love good hot dogs, but my mom's cooking. I love her chicken parm, her lasagna, spaghetti and meatballs. Just home cooked meals that my mom would make a ton of that I could go to town on.
That sounds good. That sounds like something I would like to eat. So
yeah, mom, I can just see the conversation. You call your mom and you're like, hey, can we have some chicken parm? She's like, yeah, let me run to the store and get 8 6-packs of chicken patties, right?
What she would do is I want to make chicken parm or your lasagna. So that would make me come home. I haven't visited her enough, so she'll make what I want.
So, Joey, obviously, we talked a little bit about the hot dog contest. I told you not to look at my questions. I'm kidding. So everyone sees you on July 4th. That is the day that America, it's the most American thing you can do, in my opinion, to shove 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes on America's birthday. What, you have July 4th, big hoorah and whatnot. What is July 5th like for you?
I feel like garbage. It's I go into it knowing I'm going to feel like garbage, though. And there's no surprise. I'm lethargic. I'm running the bathroom. I feel like if I start sweating, I'll smell like hot dogs or like meat. But it's like anybody who pushes himself to a silly limit. You go like a football player. They know the next day they're gonna feel like garbage or trash. A boxer, they're willing to go in, willing to get hit in the head. So it's like once I realized like, all right, I'm going in not just to eat. I'm going in willing to accept that the next day and a half I'm going to feel like trash.
So again, that was my next question. How long until you're ready to go?
Yeah, I'm feeling like trash for like a day and a half. And so it's you got to accept it. And I have a whole recovery plan. Like as soon as I can start eating, I'll try to eat like lettuce and high fiber foods, even if I'm not hungry.
Just to get everything moving.
Keep things moving. And because I'll stay bloated for longer if I just stop eating, and it's a lot of trial and error. It took a long time to figure out how to help my body digest such a ridiculous amount of food. And sometimes if I'm dehydrated, I can tell oh my body it's not working. My body's rejecting it. So sometimes I get sick. Very rarely. I've been pretty good. I pay attention to my body pretty well. But the body's a weird thing.
Do you have anybody else who like watches over your body, or is it just you?
Over my body?
Like coach,
like a doctor,
like coach, nutritionist.
For a while I had a nutritionist, and for a long time I had the same doctor. But I just moved recently, so I'm looking for a new doctor. Hopefully I find a good one soon. But
I feel like the day after, I feel like we're experts in that as college kids. You know, you go to the Saturday game day tailgate, and then you got to prepare yourself for the next hangover, the Sunday
exactly
hangover. It's like,
so we're basically the same.
Exactly, we're basically the same. You know, you are hungover from, or not hungover, but your body's aching from 76 hot dogs. Our body's aching from
76 beers.
Exactly.
Yeah. I punish my body, and I'm willing to accept. It gets mad at me for a couple of days.
Do you drink?
Yeah.
Like, do you drink? Like, you drink beer?
I love beer.
Like, do you have a problem like stopping drinking? Like, because you have the room for it, right?
Yeah. I think there's video of me drinking like 12 pints of beer in like 70 seconds. They go down fast.
That's what I was wondering. So, like anything, beer, liquor, you can get down fast. Like,
I don't drink liquor. I mean, that's just the recipe for something
That's
really bad.
I didn't know if you could take like Steve will do it or one of those guys that kind of just chugs alcohol.
I don't want to do that. It's then if somebody tries to do what I do, then they're getting hurt and dying, and then it would suck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to try to eat 76 hot dogs.
They could try. It's pretty hard.
And so, like, what is your pregame routine like? So, like, and I'm not saying like maybe like the hour before. So, you know, some guys like when they play sports, like they're real loose, or some guys are super focused in. Like, what's your pregame routine like the hour before?
Bunch of weird things. So I'll do some weird burping exercises.
That was in the 33rd.
Yeah, I'll do some of that.
I did rewatch that 2 nights ago.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I'll do count my burps, and I'll stretch my. Sometimes I'll bring my chew toy for my jaws to get them warmed up. But the burp exercises were just keep those muscles around my stomach really stretched and loose, and just having control is important for me. And then last thing, I'll drink a little bit of coffee. Just try to get excited, and then it's go time. Right before the contest, I'll go right out in front of all the people in the front and talk to them. To tell them it's gonna get ugly, and even if I look like I'm in pain, you can yell at me. Don't let me get lazy, and they usually push me pretty hard.
I wouldn't say it looks ugly at all. I'd say it looks beautiful.
Is there any do you have like a pump up song, any go to song before you get up there, or anything you like to hear, get you in the zone?
Dude, have you heard the MC for these contests? They usually kick ass, and they get me amped. So the MC usually does a really good job. His introductions, and I
feel like also anywhere you go now, like as soon as you step on stage, there's a roar in the crowd, and that would always get
it feels so good.
Yeah, and like everybody, I feel like anybody who's watching people eat something competitively, they know who you are and are excited to see you for sure.
He's the face of the MLE.
I know. I feel bad for like the other eaters. So like it's like, oh, how are they going to compete? Like, they're like, because I know it gets me amped up. hearing the people yell and scream, and it's definitely an advantage.
So growing up, whenever you like say in high school or whatever, did you play football or anything like that?
I was a band nerd. I was a marching band, first chair trumpet, and I love it.
So the bands here are pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Tiger band's pretty good.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, like, because I guess whenever I got to college, I had no trouble at all gaining weight. Right, you go to these events and you eat terribly and whatnot. But did you ever have like trouble trying to gain weight, or was that like most people? The reason I asked that is because most people would think the amount of calories you consume that you would be a lot bigger of a human being.
No, I do gain weight, and it's a battle. When I was younger, I could gain weight real quick and lose it quick. Now it's easy for me to gain it and it's harder to lose it. But I'm definitely aware of my calorie intake. I know that if I lose track, I'm going to gain weight. Then it's harder for me to push myself hard. If I get fat, then I can't breathe during the contest. I get winded.
I would have never thought of that.
So I have to keep running. I'm on the Peloton quite a bit now, which sucks. And, so then I'm not extremely fit by any means, but I'm fit enough that I don't get winded while I eat, and that's the most important thing. If I get winded and then I'm breathing through my mouth, I'm not eating at all.
That is just amazing. Like you can just see, like talking to him, like the amount of thought that has gone into this, and it's like it's just crazy to see. Like people eat every day, right? You eat multiple times a day. It's crazy the amount of thought and preparation that you go through.
Oh yeah, and it's like I started doing it when I was in school, getting my engineering degree, and I kind of looked at it like a problem.
What kind of engineering?
Civil.
Oh, yeah. I graduated mechanical.
Oh no way.
His math better be right on those calculations.
Yeah, we're gonna have to run back these numbers. I wasn't the best student. So are there any ways that obviously there's rules to the competitions? Are there any ways to just flat out cheat?
Oh, there's people always trying to cheat. So you'll see like people drop food on the ground. They'll hide food in their cups. There's people who will put food in their pocket sometimes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they're
scumbags.
And now these days with a video, everybody gets caught. It's hilarious.
They should make the people who shove it in their pocket eat it after. if they catch you with it in your pocket, you have to eat it.
Oh, and then there's the other one where it's kind of like if it's like meatballs, they'll try to like kind of roll the meatballs onto the other person's plate or the other person's area. Since it's not theirs anymore. But yeah, people are clever. Yeah, there's definitely, but usually at the center of the table, I'm pretty lucky. Usually the people in the center of the table they're pretty. Everybody knows they're being watched. So yeah, it's usually the table enders who are pulling shenanigans.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, we have to watch out for those people at the end of the table. That's right. We'll keep our eyes on them. You don't have to. Is there like a perfect day for eating? Like you ever like walk outside or like, maybe like the July 4th day or whatever. And it's just like, you walk outside and it's like, today.
Low humidity.
Yeah. Today is going to be a day. Like, could you describe that day to me?
Dude, humidity is rough. It is rough. Like 2 years ago, we did the pizza contest in New Orleans and I think it was September.
Mm-hmm.
It was hot. It was hot and humid. It was like I was leaking. It was just like the sweat was just squirting out of my pores, but it was not ideal. But the humidity doesn't help. A little bit of heat does help. I don't mind a dry heat because it's your heart. It's easy to get excited. Your heart's beating. Sometimes if it's cold outside, it really sucks. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get eating. But a little bit of heat. Like we're talking like 85 would be pretty sweet. Maybe that's a little bit too hot, but yeah, I don't mind a little bit of heat. And but if it's really humid, it gets sticky and just gross.
Yeah.
Do you watch film?
Oh yeah, I film a lot of my practices for hot dogs, and I watched that video from the pizza, the sliced pizza already a couple times, and I'm trying to figure out my best way to attack it. And it's just make it natural, so I don't have to think about my next move, so my body knows what to do next.
Have you ever broken multiple world records in a day?
Oh, what have I done?
Because I'm pretty sure if my count's correct, you have 46 world records.
Something like that. It might have been 50.
I don't know. You break them so quickly that it's just like
multiple in one day. I don't think I have done multiple in one day.
Well, you're going to tomorrow because tomorrow is the Fat Boys eating championship. You're going to try to beat your record. I believe your record 6.5. You're going to beat that. And then we have a tailgate on the parade grounds. And I think I looked up your record for pulled pork sandwiches is 45.
Yeah.
And we just happen to have pulled pork sandwiches at the tailgate tomorrow. They're in the smoker right now.
Pulled pork's delicious. It's one of my favorite foods. A good pulled pork sandwich with some coleslaw, and it's just delicious.
I feel like for a pulled pork sandwich, there's so much variation in how much meat could be on the sandwich. Yeah. I feel like when you're going for a world record, like it has to be pretty concise about like you have to use the same scooper.
They use a scooper.
Yeah,
the same like just a hamburger bun. It was pretty generic.
Yeah. I feel like is there ever been like a world record you've broken and you eat the food and you're like you get back and you're like, damn, that was actually like pretty good. Like the food was like
or I'm still hungry.
There's been a couple where the food was like delicious. I was in Miami and they have these like it was like deep fried mashed potatoes. I don't know what they're called. I forget. It's like
deep fried mashed potatoes. That sounds so damn good.
Like mashed potatoes with little pieces of ham in there fried. And they were oh my god, they were so good.
Hash brown.
No, it was like a hash brown. I forget. Croquetas. That's what they're called.
Okay. Yeah. Wait. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
And they're delicious. And I had never had one until I actually got to the contest. And that was my first time having it. And I was like, oh my god. And I broke the record, beat everybody. Then I was able
to like, can I get another plate?
I was eating them afterwards.
Wow. So Joey, this is awesome, man. Like this is actually really cool. Like watching you, like we've all been watching you for years. Like we grew up with you. It was you, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Shaq, all these athletes, and you have more championship titles than both of them. I was looking at your website. Which one of your wing sauces is the best? Which one should I order?
Ooh, the sriracha teriyaki is awesome.
That's the one I was looking at.
Absolutely killer. It's a little bit of sweetness from the teriyaki, but as real spicy also. I love it. That's the boss one. And the mustard is my favorite. Like if you were a hot dog with just mustard and raw onions, that's just a killer hot dog.
Is that your go-to hot dog? Is that how you eat the hot dog?
Yeah. But I'll put everything else on it. I'll put cheese and chili. I love a good chili cheese dog.
I feel like there's like just so many ways to do a hot dog, but then there's just always like just go back and then like I agree. I'm always like just a mustard guy, maybe like a little bit of relish, but I feel like you could eat it so many different ways, but then you just go back home.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's like a liquor. Like if people who drink a certain liquor, their body knows how to digest it.
Mm-hmm.
knows how to metabolize it. It's like your body knows how to digest those hot dogs in a certain way, and it's just comfortable. It's like a comfort food.
Is there any food you won't eat?
Oh man, yeah. There's
like Luffy doesn't like good things.
I'll eat raw oysters, but I don't think I can do it in contests. It's just
we were just talking
the texture would start to nauseate me a little bit, and the saltiness.
Not char grill.
The char grills are good too, but I can do the char grill. But there's every year there's a oyster eating contest in New Orleans, and I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it because I've never been sick during a contest. But
I think you need to do it.
Maybe one of these years.
I feel like it is like a tough food. It's like a very specific. There's nothing really like a raw oyster.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
texture.
Yeah, and the saltiness, like that. It's just.
Although this is my first time today, I just had the raw oysters here, and they're not as salty as the ones in California. So it was actually kind of all right. Maybe I could do it.
There's kind of a salt shortage due to COVID lately. So no, I'm just kidding.
No, I think it's just the where the brackish water they're raised in.
Wow, I just got
schooled. He's just way smarter than you.
Well, boys, y'all got any more questions for the man?
What's like the coolest person or athlete that's ever reached out to you that you were like, holy shit, that was awesome?
I don't know about reached out. I did Shaq versus, and I met him and hung out with Shaq. He's a sweetheart. We're talking just he's just a nice guy.
We love Shaq here. He's an LSU guy.
Yeah,
so.
he has a good heart, and I'm super happy I got to meet him and hang out with him for a little bit. What else? Charles Barkley. He's a nice guy too. He's fun. He likes to drink.
Have you ever played golf with Charles Barkley?
No.
Do you play golf?
I'm terrible. I'm probably
I'm
bad,
so bad.
Charles. He got better though, didn't he?
Yeah, he's getting better.
Yeah.
He's solid.
Yeah, he's getting better. But
I just remember those like first days of like when he first had that awful swing and everybody just was.
he looked like he was gonna hurt himself.
Yeah.
So, Joey, we're gonna round out this interview. I got one last question. Which is, besides the hot dogs, if that's you're the one you're most proud of, which other world record are you most proud of, or what I guess accomplishment in eating are you most proud of?
I think hard-boiled eggs is 141.
Yep, 141 in 8 minutes. Got it right here on the sheet.
My grandpa, he was still alive when I did that one. He was like, "Oh my god, I remember Cool Hand Luke." Cool Hand Luke did 50.
Yeah.
But my grandpa was really proud of that one when I did that. But
Well,
That's awesome.
That is incredible.
Hot dogs by far though is one of the best ones.
That is. Yeah, I mean the mustard belt. It's better than winning like a UFC belt or a boxing belt. Like the mustard belt is where it's at, right?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. They do a killer job with it. Like the same guy who makes the WWE belts, he makes that belt.
That is incredible, Joey. Thank you so much for taking the time. This is, like I said at the start of the interview, this has been so cool for you to be cool enough to come into our studio and come on our little podcast and all that while you're in town. And I think tomorrow's the day you're gonna break 2 world records.
I think so. Well, who might not be pulled pork, might be drinking.
Can you guarantee a number of pizza slices tomorrow at the Fat Boys Eating Challenge?
I feel like 7 is. There's definitely gonna be a new world record. I'm hoping.
Come on,
Let's go.
Joey CHESTNUT just guaranteed a world record on our podcast.
I mean, hopefully it's me who does it.
No, yeah,
We'll see.
I don't think we'll have any issue with that. But Joey Joss, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thanks, Joey.
Thank you.
Awesome. All righty, we want to give a huge shout out. We said at the beginning of the show, but shout out again to Michael Corciani and Fat Boys Pizza for putting on the eating competition for Joey CHESTNUT. Shout out to Joey CHESTNUT for just being a cool guy, right?
Yep.
You would think like most people who are that famous, like that is a very well-known name. That's a very well-known guy, and he came.
I feel like
into your
every
house.
guy in America should know who that is. You know?
Exactly.
Like, I understand if girls don't know who that is, but like I think every guy should know who that is, at least every American citizen.
I mean, that guy is the face of America. I mean, we've said it before, but what is more American than shoving 76 hot dogs down your gullet on America's birthday?
You know what you need to clean up, or you might need to use to clean up after you eat 76 hot dogs in a day, John?
I think we know somebody that
We
can help
do.
us.
You would call Martine Patio at Workbox LLC if you need portable toilets, if you need portable restroom rentals, luxury ones. Joey probably needs a whole one to himself after the
does.
76
Well, I was
dogs.
gonna say, like, he does not need anything less than a Workbox porta potty
Yeah,
after eating
that's true.
76 hot dogs.
Premium porta potties.
The luxury ones.
Workbox is Louisiana's leader in industrial and residential services, and they provide storage containers, portable restroom rentals, roll-off dumpsters, portable offices, and storage containers. If you need anything, call Martine at Workbox at 225-343-4886. Martine's always working, was on the golf course with him Sunday. Had to tell him put the phone away for a little while, but he still snuck a couple calls in. Call Martine at Workbox at 225-343-4886.
All right, let's talk about Joey for a second. I think the biggest takeaway from Saturday's eating contest, it was on Saturday at 3:30 at Fat Boys Pizza. It was outside.
It was chilly.
That was it. That had to have been it.
And he told us that.
He the way he, like, I was so amazed during the interview by his like psyche and his like thought process behind how he eats and the competitive nature in which he goes about it, right?
Look, you put him in the air conditioning, like in a temperature controlled environment, he gets 7 easily. It's out there, the elements, and he said it himself. He likes a little heat. He likes to turn it up. And
yeah. I mean,
a cold day like that it was Saturday, the pizza was just slow.
Right. And Esper, right, is the guy who is essentially number 2, the guy in the Boston Red Sox hat. That guy's no joke.
No,
right?
no. He's like the second best. He's number 2.
These guys are all pros.
Exactly.
And I feel like when eating the amount that they do and as often as they do it, I mean, we talked to him about that too. the circuit is insane. The hot dog eating contest is not like he's not strictly training for that year round.
Exactly.
Right?
These guys get paid to eat too.
On any gosh, it sounds so good to be getting paid to eat. But,
look, they're just professionals in their craft.
It's any given Saturday in competitive eatings.
It is. It's any given Saturday.
But,
hard league to win in.
But shout out Joey CHESTNUT. Cool guy. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Hopefully next time he's in Baton Rouge, we'll be able to run it back with him. All right. So LSU played Saturday as well. We did have a tailgate. The weather was beautiful. Shout out to those that did come out. We had a great time. Now the game, Luffy, you and I sat next to each other. It felt like when Nussmeier came in at first, there was a little bit of a spark, right?
Yeah.
Stop.
I mean,
stop.
Wait, no, wait. I'm saying you could feel that spark
setting it
even
up.
On the TV. Like you could feel that the team had a spark.
So we were texting. Me and Luffy were in the game, and Rory was studying, and we were talking about how our differences of opinion between Max Johnson and Garrett Nussmeier playing quarterback for LSU. And my opinion, I'm going to just go ahead and say it first, is that Garrett Nussmeier, as a freshman in his first starting game, played most of the game, or he didn't start, but he played every
drive
snap
after the first two.
Right. He came in, played phenomenally. He walks with a swagger, not phenomenally, but admirable for his first start under center for LSU. And I think if you're going to have a play calling scheme like let's just call it what it is, Jake Peets and DJ Mangus, and you can have your opinion on whoever, if it was meddling or if anybody else calling the plays and whatnot. But what it boiled down to me, it made no difference whether Max Johnson or Garrett Nussmeier was at quarterback on Saturday night. It was the play calling.
And I don't even know if it's a play calling. I think maybe the game plan in general, because it kind of felt like for Max, he knew the minute they weren't doing well that he was getting pulled. So I'm sure he had some extra pressure kind of knowing that, because Coach O basically said it during the week. And then, I mean, he never gave Max a chance to get back in the game. But if that was going to be the case the whole time, which it seems like it was, then, why not just start him and let him get all the reps during the week? There seems like there's like no plan, but there is a plan, but the plan isn't like cohesive over the entire staff.
Also, it just felt like, and excuse my language here, but LSU fans just bitched their way into Nussmeier starting. And you want to know what game we had the least amount of points scored all year?
Was it this game?
It was this game against Arkansas. Least points scored all year.
So my attitude towards starting Nussmeier, you're right, Rory. It shouldn't be, let's talk up Garrett Nussmeier. Let's say, why has he not played all year? This season's a wash, right? This season's a wash.
I get that.
Garrett Nussmeier has everything to gain by coming in and playing a meaningful game in Tiger Stadium, being the leader of the team. And one thing I don't think you can argue, and I don't think anybody else can, is that it seemed like Garrett Nussmeier, yes, he's kind of a gunslinger. Yes, he's kind of wild and whatnot. But that was the closest to Joe Burrow we felt since he left, right? As not as far as the playmaking goes. Hold on.
Okay, I'm listening.
His swagger, it seemed like he was always in the middle of the huddle, always hyping guys up. I haven't felt that completely from Max Johnson this year.
Okay, yeah, you're right, but there's great quarterbacks who don't have the same swag that Nussmeier or Joe Burrow have. You don't need the swag to be a great quarterback. Yeah, it helps, but there's other things that lead you to be a great quarterback. I just think personally, I was not impressed. You play the freshman, you get the freshman mistakes. We saw the freshman mistakes in overtime and in the fourth quarter. He got lucky on the drive to, tie it up and go into overtime. He took the sack and then he makes a big throw. Like if he doesn't make that big throw on third and whatever it was, 17, we don't even go to overtime. There was just mistakes there. And then I will admit that we don't score the touchdown. Like Max Johnson's not scoring that touchdown. He does not have the arm to score that touchdown. you get Nussmeier, and he is a gunslinger, and the ball whips out his hand. He throws it hard. He throws a good ball, and but I didn't see it. And I mean, if anything, you just said F these last 2 games.
He's not going to play the last. Nuss isn't going to play the last 2 games. They're going to redshirt him.
It was reported that Max will be the starter. Obviously,
yeah.
Max is going to play the entirety of the next 2 games.
Yeah,
and Nuss is going to redshirt. It was basically, I don't know if it was like a plan to get both of them to stay into the spring or not, but like you're also messing with Jake Johnson, the number 1 tight end who's committed to LSU, number 1 tight end in the nation. Max's younger brother, so. I mean, that's also another reason why I don't think you'll see Nuss, because 1, the red shirt, 2, Jake Johnson, Max's little brother, and I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't really frustrated. I'm not gonna sit here and get mad at Nuss or Max, but I think the coaches made Max skittish as the year goes along.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I think.
And I also don't think they put Nuss in a good situation either.
No quarterback in the last 2 years has been put in a position to really succeed well.
No,
right?
I agree.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
They're 2 fantastic quarterbacks. Like it doesn't matter.
Like, while I disagree with the Nuss playing, I think it should have been Max the whole time. I really just think LSU fans just bitch their way, and then they had the consequences of their bitching when you watch that Nuss play. But it does 100% boil down to the coaching. I mean, the offensive coaching, not the defensive coaching. The offensive coaching is miserable.
And Ensminger did. Like I said earlier, and I've said it throughout this year, he did a good job switching quarterbacks last year, because the offensive miles were fine really at first, and then with TJ. He was good in 1 game and then really struggled with his accuracy. And then he came in and switched the system again for Max. And I don't think he got enough credit in 2019, but enough about that. Jack Besh, obviously, we talked about the last week how he was going to be legit here to stay. And then he goes out and puts that performance on, kind of backs up what we said.
I was in disbelief when he made that catch.
That was a number 4 play in the top 10, right? It definitely was on the top 10.
Yeah.
I was watching it 2 a.m. when I got home, but it was a phenomenal phenomenal catch.
I didn't have a word to say.
All right, let me ask you about this. Do you obviously don't look at me like I'm stupid when I say this, but you have Mahomes, right? Mahomes is a gunslinger. Mahomes creates plays. I just felt that energy from Nussmeier. Stop. See, I knew you were. See, you did it. I knew you were going to do it. I told you not to do it, and you did it. All I'm trying to say is that the electricity is there.
Well, John, I said this a couple of weeks ago,
like a Manziel or something.
I said that Nuss reminds me of Matt Corral a couple of weeks ago,
right
after the LSU game, and he does. He kind of runs around with that same swagger, not like a huge dude or anything, and just slings it around the field. And I don't know, Nuss's time. He might be the starter next year.
I don't appreciate it, Rory. You always look at me like you're laughing at me.
So we ran a poll on Saturday after the game, and
before the game?
No, after the game on Saturday, or Sunday morning.
Luffy, you don't remember?
On Twitter, talking about who's going to be the starting quarterback in 2022, and Nussmeier got 26% of the votes. Max Johnson with 9, and Walker Howard with 65. So I think it's just I feel like LSU fans are just
next man, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just they think that the unseen is always better than the seen,
Oh, I agree with that.
You always believe that there's something better when it just might be true.
Well, I think and there is a conversation to be had, right? So one school of thought, and I'm kind of in the middle with this. One school of thought is that Max Johnson has been the quarterback of LSU for almost 2 years now. Really, I get last year kind of wasn't really a season, and this year he's kind of
like a year and a half.
Yeah, I'd say a year and a half. He's been there, and one might say, oh, can he get better? Has he reached a peak? Because there was a point last year and this year where I was like, there's no questions asked. He needs to be the starter. I even thought he needed to be the starter over Miles at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Now, the other school of thought is saying, well, it's the coaching staff, and he has never been put in a position to succeed at LSU, which I'm also right there, because you have last year, the COVID year, the horrendous coaching hires and play calling and all of last year. That was terrible. And then this year you have a brand new offensive coordinator who has never called plays before. How is a guy going to succeed with a guy who is learning on the job at LSU in the toughest conference, toughest division as well in college football? So to be honest with you, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see Garrett Nussmeier, Walker Howard, and Max Johnson. I don't think they all make it to next year. I'm just saying.
I think it all boils down to who's calling the plays. I mean, like you see it. The play calling is atrocious. I mean,
it's just predictable.
And God, it's so like watching. I think we ran 4 times on 3rd and 7. Like what? We got one. I mean, luckily, but like, what's like? I don't understand the play calling. I don't get it at all. You run the Wildcat for I think the first time.
The Wildcat pissed me off because you know who was playing running back in the Wildcat? A walk-on. So we brought.
Who's Josh Williams?
Yes. So they brought Ty Davis Price who's taking a snap, right? To put a walk-on. Usually, I mean, I would think that would be to get another weapon on the field, or something like that.
But yeah.
Or just anyone. Just it didn't make sense at that point in the game. And before the half was a disaster too.
They brought Josh Williams in to run a 3rd and 7 run as well.
Yeah,
he ran the ball on 3rd and 7.
Yeah,
I mean that's just absurd. I don't know if Cam Cameron is running the ball on 3rd and 7 with Leonard Fournette. Like that's just absurd.
Yeah, and
he saw the Saints do that like 2 weeks ago, where Alvin Kamara ran on that draw for 3rd and 7, and he just really liked it and just kept it.
Yeah, and before the half, clock management, obviously, Coach O's just not. I mean, he hasn't been that great at. Yeah, he hadn't been that great at it. But defensively, there were some bright spots. Some young guys played well.
I mean, without Durante Jones in the defense, I mean, we're nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the linebackers have really done a good job turning around. Hope we retain Blake Baker. I actually kind of want to retain Andre Carter too, just to have some similarity for these guys going forward. I just think that helps rolling into a new DC or someone. I mean, you would know better than me, Rory, but like if you're able to keep Blake Baker and Andre Carter as the D-line coach, is that helpful? And Corey Raymond, is that helpful at all for the new DC?
I mean, yeah. Also, I think that Durante Jones should at least get a look for the job. I mean,
yeah.
He might not be the best person. I mean, if you bring in a defensive coach, like they're obviously going to bring in their guys.
Yeah.
But if we swung for the fences and hit it out the park with Lincoln Riley, I mean, I think you look at Durante Jones and you look at his work and you say, all right, I mean, like he has done exceptionally well. He's been able to make decisions and make adjustments when needed. We have definitely gotten better as a defense since the beginning of the year. I mean, the linebackers were a weak spot at the beginning of the year, and now Damone Clark looks like a completely different player. Micah Bakersfield looks like a legit SEC linebacker. The defensive line is back there. They're making plays and really like outside of like missed tackles on the defense, like there's been pressure for most of the year. Like, I mean, you think about Auburn game, we had pressure all over the quarterback. We had pressure all over Jefferson yesterday. I mean, it's hard to tackle Jefferson as it is because it's the largest human being known to man, but like playing quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people are saying like one of the analysts came up with the blitz packages we used all the last 2 weeks. Is that like, I don't know, you would know better than us. Is that something that like can happen in a building? And like, how does that get out too?
Well, I mean, it gets out probably because they want to give credit to the guy. But, yeah, that can happen. There's nobody in a building that watches more film than the analysts. Because the analysts have the shit job. Like, they're not a head coach. They don't have the pedigree to be anywhere. So they're just there with the grad assistants of working their tail off, trying to get an actual job. So those guys watch more film than anything. So I wouldn't be surprised if an analyst actually did come up with something.
Okay.
All right. Let's get to I got one question I want to pose to y'all before the House Always Wins segment. This is something me and you were talking about during the game on Saturday, Luffy. But first, football fans, who's ready to score some free bets? Now you can when you bet on any NFL game this week with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers who bet just $1 on either team to score can win $100 in free bets. When a team scores, you score. If a sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes along with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. By the way, sports betting in Louisiana making its move. It is only a matter of time before DraftKings sports betting is a full go. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code OTB. Bet $1 on either team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code OTB. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, NJIN or PA only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. You got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. So, Luffy, we were wondering. This was just a random thought, a random LSU thought. Corey Kiner wears number 21 on the football field, right? 21 is a retired jersey number in football. Jerry Stovall wore that number when he played for LSU, and it was retired the year 2018. Why in the earth is somebody wearing a retired number? That's a legitimate question that me and Lovey spent a good few minutes and a good beer discussing.
Yeah.
You think it's an equipment? Like, are we the first ones to discover this?
Well, they use all numbers. I mean, we still have, everyone's using the other retired numbers as well, I believe.
I don't know. I don't even know what other retired numbers
I think 37, right? You had it pulled up a second ago, John. I think 37 is, and one other number.
18. No.
18.
No. Billy Cannon. It was. I just had it.
But either way, like, it is strange. But I think they're using all the numbers, right? Because in the locker room, isn't the lockers like 1 through 100, and then doesn't it keep going?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a 1 through 140. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's no skipped numbers, right? That you can think of.
Not off the top of my head, no. I mean, but I wouldn't notice if there was a skipped or not. So I'm a bad person to ask that.
All right. So, yeah. All right. So Billy Cannon was number 20. 21 was Stovall. And then 37 was Casanova.
Is there a 20, though?
I don't think anybody wears 20 anymore.
So maybe it's like a.
So
there's
Rory,
really only one retired.
This was a provision that's kind of written in lawyer terms. So this article was about the retired numbers in LSU and whatnot. And it says, in January 2007, the school made a provision to its jersey retirement bylaws stating the retirement of an athlete's jersey in a particular sport does not preclude a current student athlete in that sport from wearing that jersey number in that or any other sport, subject to the discretion of the head coach.
Yeah, so we don't have.
So does Coach O think that Corey Kiner and Jerry Stovall are in the same level?
I bet they just have it worked out to where, like, you can't pick 20.
Yeah,
and that's the only number, and it'll be 9. I mean, you can't.
So in what world are you able to? Why would they retire some numbers and not the others? But then you let some wear the others. I mean, and not the
maybe
others?
They're just showing some respect.
No one's going to be allowed to wear 9, I don't think, going forward.
Probably not.
I mean, I know no one has it this year.
Yeah, until somebody gets some blood on their jersey and they gotta throw on an old practice jersey that is in the locker room.
It would have to be the same number. They have they have like multiple of your jerseys in the locker room.
Roy's got a cover.
All right, I didn't play football for LSU, so don't fault me for not knowing that. All right,
wait. Before we get to the House Always Wins, quick, I wanted to discuss some of the coaching things I saw on Twitter this week. One, somebody compared Jimbo to Lincoln Riley. I just want to get the general consensus that that's absurd. Are we correct?
Like their careers, or
like as a coaching hire that people would prefer Jimbo over Lincoln Riley?
I don't know. I think it maybe a small percentage of people.
Well, it was like a real discussion on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is that Jimbo's won and Lincoln hasn't, but the age difference is huge.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Lincoln Riley. If you said the same, you could have said the same thing about Jimbo Fisher 15, 20 years ago, right?
Can we just agree that we would all rather have Lincoln Riley than Jimbo Fisher?
I mean, Jimbo just got beat by Ole Miss.
Yeah,
but Lincoln Riley they got beat by Aranda, which I mean. It's kind of like all their heads are distracted right now because they all think they're coming to LSU. I don't know if that's true. I just like to think that, but it's given the age, Like if Lincoln Riley could come to LSU and be the coach for the next 20 years, of course you would want to take him over Jimbo. Yeah. But at the same time, Lincoln Riley has put Oklahoma in these spots. They haven't delivered, but
they're in the spot every year.
Oklahoma is not LSU, so he would
perform
better at LSU.
They've been in the playoffs every year.
He's 0-3 in the playoffs. I know that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying if you look at it, he's younger. And if you're looking for the future of the program, you'd rather Lincoln Riley.
Oh, 100%.
But to say, I'm not just because A&M hadn't like risen to the top. It does take a few years to raise a program up from what it was. Right?
Yeah, sure. And they're going to have another good recruiting class, like Jimbo said today. And we can talk about the other two guys that I think are legit candidates that everyone seems to be saying, or other three guys, Mel Tucker. If he's going to take the job, he's been offered that big extension.
Yeah, big extension.
But has he signed it?
Probably not.
He was leveraging his position at Staples.
Yeah. So either way, he's getting a big raise from LSU, even if it's not coming directly from LSU.
Yeah.
And then, but I guess he must be a serious player for them really to
offer that extension.
Yeah, to offer that extension. And then Billy Napier, he obviously wants a job. He comes on radio. It sounds like he's pretty much like begging for the job.
Yeah,
he's not really begging for it when I say that, but like he's answering questions, like trying to appeal to like LSU.
Yeah.
And LSU fans.
The exact opposite of every other coach that's answer a question about LSU.
Yeah. So he wants a job for sure. And then I think Dave Aranda's in serious play. He obviously just beat Lincoln Riley and has that team rolling. I mean, we know a lot about Dave, and he's obviously a great coach who really is just focused. It seems like his one true like focus and stuff in life is football.
That's
like
true.
He does not. He's kind of like a no bullshit guy. Like he talks about football. If you don't ask him about football in the press conference, you're not going to get anything from him.
I agree. I just wanted to put my stance on there that Lincoln Riley is just a way better coach than Jimbo Fisher. But
you're on record now.
All right, I'm on record.
One last quick thing I heard today. Coach O had his press conference, Tell the Truth Monday, whatever. And it Moscona was talking about it on the radio. He said I tend to agree with him on this. So he said Coach O, he played a clip of Coach O, and a reporter asked him, he said, Coach, like, what is your advice for the next coach at LSU? And Coach O goes, I don't know. That's not my problem. And that was kind of the start, which it isn't, right? But that was kind of a start of a rant from Moscona, like his miscues with the media. Like, for some, they might not think that's a big deal and whatnot. But in my opinion, it's like, well, his point was, if Coach O loves LSU as much as he says he does, wouldn't he want to say, oh, well, I'm going to tell him this, this, and this, or is he just skipping over it? I don't know.
I don't think that O's really good at those like fast response answers. It's like sometimes he doesn't take a second to think about them. That's not where it started. As far as like his quick response answers, he's been doing that
for a while,
for a long time, and like it has gotten worse. You're right; it's gotten worse since he's been relieved of his duties.
So I guess the reason I asked that first was to kind of lead into this. Has he really gotten worse at these responses, or is it because the whole mindset behind LSU and the fact that we're not winning?
I'll give you an example. He struggled a lot in his first year at LSU in the media. His first full year, I mean, he straight up said, we don't have very good players like 4 times during the middle of the season. Like, probably shouldn't say that. And they told him, like, don't say that anymore.
I think he just, like, doesn't care.
Yeah. He doesn't, like, so I think he just sometimes he doesn't, like, think the repercussions is going to happen before he says it.
Also, like, he's at the point where the repercussions don't matter.
Now they don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But my point was just he's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think before he had like a barrier in his mind of like, okay, let me think about this before I answer, and now that's just gone. Also, last thing, quick,
go ahead.
Pete's or Matt Canada.
Okay, that I did see that today. That was another conversation that I assume you started on Twitter.
No, somebody else started that.
Well, there was a tweet that somebody responded to.
People are not happy with you though.
I mean,
I'll give a quick thought. My thought is that Pete's is just young and learning on the job. I think this was the wrong job for him to come in and try to learn. But I mean, from what I'm hearing, Matt Canada is not a good guy to work with, and that's been proven. They're not proven, but at least.
I mean, Canada's a OC in the NFL right now, but their offense isn't very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Canada's like system is just like his system. It doesn't seem like Pete's really has a system, so it's kind of hard to judge Pete's.
I think Pete's it
Right
just
now.
stinks for Pete's.
I think that the love that Matt Canada got on that tweet is absolutely absurd. It's another just like LSU fans being delusional and forgetting about like what happened. Matt Canada was awful.
You were there when Matt Canada was there. You were playing for LSU when
Yeah,
Matt Canada
I
was
was,
there.
and he was awful. He was awful.
What about just as a guy?
Wait,
Like,
did him and O almost actually fight though? But now this we can go on the record with this.
I don't know. I mean, they definitely did not like each other.
Apparently, they came like chest to chest.
But
that could have been in the offices.
they wouldn't have done that in front of the players.
Practice.
Like they were pretty cordial in front of the players, but there were times where O would like be like,
Lose
"You
it.
need to simple down the offense like at halftime," and Canada would be like visibly mad, but he would do it because they obviously had already had that talk.
Yeah,
But-
he would
When we were motioning 12 times and getting penalties.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's offense is just dumb. It's just like it's like built on the fact that the defense doesn't know what you're doing because you're
Exactly.
just motioning everywhere, and then like your offense doesn't even know what you're doing.
I mean, definitely probably not the easiest for college kids to pick up.
No, and like you only get a year, and then like I mean, Canada does have like an FU attitude, and he brings that into the locker room. Like he was every week, he was like, "F this defense, like we're better than this defense." Like he does exude confidence, but like I just think that LSU fans forget how bad things were, and like think that Pete's is just like way worse than Matt Canada. Which I mean, I think Pete's is worse than Matt Canada, but to say way worse or to be exuberantly loving Matt Canada is absolutely absurd.
Well, I mean, it's the typical what have you done for me lately, right?
Yeah.
It's like what is the cool thing to either agree with or disagree with right now. But one thing you just said, I'm sorry, we're just doing this. We're talking. We're just talking football. So was that a visible thing that you observed between Coach O and Matt Canada? Like,
I mean, I don't remember what game it was, but there was a specific time at halftime where Coach O said that we were simpling the offense down because we had messed up earlier in the first half. And he said that we were simpling the offense down, like came in the locker room at halftime and said that. And Matt Canada was visibly frustrated, but he went along with it. Like, there was visible frustration on Matt Canada's face, but he just was like, all right, whatever. Like, this is what we're doing.
and did you say, like, Coach, I really think if we could get a jet sweep around the corner or a option goal, and like you were the one to stand up and say something like that, right?
No, I was like so deathly hungry at every halftime that I was like shoveling down Rice Krispie treats.
That's what they have in the locker room?
That's what they have at halftime.
Trying to soak up that beer.
Like all right, quick rant. All the players that matter, all the scholarship players that are the players that travel, they get to eat. They eat a meal before the game, and the walk-ons are just on their own. So like you get in at halftime, and you really haven't eaten since probably like noon, and you were just starving. You were just eating everything that they have, and the best thing that they have was Rice Krispie treats and the little like apple juices. Or no, apple sauces. I just like would slurp those down.
Put a couple in your pants for when you're running back out at halftime. That's awesome.
Dude, what if you would have snuck a Rice Krispie treat on the field? And
I
just
wouldn't be
eaten it,
surprised if there was like somebody who did that.
eating it like just on the sideline. And
There was like a time, there was a game where all the walk-ons, like, so the walk-ons lockers are like in the way back of the locker room. They're like so it's like set up into four like kind of like sections, and they're in the fourth section. And like at halftime, they're all making adjustments, but it's not in the actual locker room. There's like a little mini like ready room.
Yeah.
And that's where all the adjustments are made. So all the walk-ons just like get some snacks, walk to the back, like by your locker, and all the players that are actually in the game are like in there making in there watching the adjustments. And halftime ended, and nobody came and told the walk-ons. So there was just like literally 20 of us who like ran on the field like right before kickoff at halftime. Like they like screamed in and like, what the, like freaking out about us being back there, and it was just like 15 of us, and we're all just like, "What?" And it was like halftime's over, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And we all just like sprint outside,
massive walk-ons, like getting rid of a Skittles packet or a Rice Krispie treat before they run back onto the field.
And then we got yelled at like we're idiots, and you're like, we're all back here. Like this happens every game. All the walk-ons just come and sit back here. Why wouldn't somebody come tell us?
I mean, they act like you have a stopwatch.
I don't know what they wanted us to do, but
all right. Well, that was fun. That was a cool little miscellaneous football segment. I really just enjoyed that. But it's that point in the show. Let's get to the famous House Always Wins segment presented by
the House Bar in Tigerland. House Bar in Tigerland open tonight when you're listening to this, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. Deals all week. Free T-shirts Tuesday nights. Deals on Thursday. Ladies night, Friday night. For all the ladies that are listening. Saturday, game day. Always deals on game day. Go to the house. It's home. I'll be there Thursday night. Probably my last time DJing for a little bit. Finals coming up. Gotta grind. But house is home, and there's no better place than home. You can follow them on Instagram at House in Tigerland and on Twitter at Tigerland House.
And shout out to Jeff for helping us out with the tailgate on Saturday. We had the House Always Wins House Bar in Tigerland. Lovey's pointing at
the out the box fans let us down tonight. I was gonna ride with them. We had like 89% vote, which means I should have bet the exact opposite on the Rams. I mean, on the Rams -3.5, and they're gonna get killed. They're almost down 28-7. It's bad. I'll go for my pick this week. I'm gonna go Bengals. I'm going Joey B coming off a couple losses and off a bye against the Raiders, who I think are kind of moving in the opposite direction. The Bengals really need to win this game. Raiders have lost some guys this year. They cut a first-round pick the other day. It seems like they kind of had like a together team, and it's slowly falling apart like it does every year for the Raiders. I got the Bengals. And I don't remember. Did I pick I either picked the Chargers, who lost. So if I had the Chargers, I lost, or I picked the Eagles, because that was the two games I liked last week.
I think you picked the Chargers because I remember
I think I switched to Chargers lost out. I mean, I honestly, the Chargers have been struggling too. The NFL has been fluky lately.
It has been fluky, and that's why I'm going to college. Last week, I had the Saints, but I told you to take the money line. So I'll accept my loss. I told you to take money line. They covered the spread. Honestly, could have won the game at the end. Classic Saints game. Let up a big lead. Come back.
Must win this week for the Saints, in my opinion.
And it's
to get into the playoffs, I think they need to win.
The good thing about this week is the Eagles, very run-heavy team. Saints, one of the best run defenses.
Eagles coming off a win. Saints coming off a loss.
Saints looking to bounce back. Jalen Hurts prone to make mistakes. But, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited. It's going to be a good game. But this week, I'm heading to the college ranks. Like Luffy said, the NFL is all over the place right now. I'm hitting up the college. I'm taking not the future LSU coach, but future coach of some other high college football team, Billy Napier, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. ULL, not UL. ULL, Louisiana Lafayette.
University of Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns.
Yes, not UL. The ULL Raging Cajuns against Liberty, +4. Give me that. ULL, good team. One loss on the year, just like really put together. Billy Napier has really done a good job with that program. They are playing a Liberty team who is coming off a bye, but the week before lost to Ole Miss. They probably put all their eggs in the basket for Ole Miss. Don't really care about ULL. I'm taking the dog. Hungry dog runs faster.
Quick LSU basketball update in the middle of this segment from me. LSU's 3-0.
They are 3-0.
We're struggling. We've struggled offensively a little bit since the first game.
Yes.
And I think we're going to continue to do that. So live bet us during the games if we struggle offensively earlier. But our defense, 3 games played, have not given up more than 60 points in a game. And Liberty was a solid team, which they played tonight when we're recording this Monday night. And
Yeah,
I think they're going to. That's kind of be the thing. But you have got to grind out and win the games like they did tonight, because if not, on Selection Sunday, that's when you start to drop.
Yeah, and I like looking into the game this week. Liberty is like projected to be a quadrant 1, or definitely quadrant 2, maybe a quadrant 1 level team, which is a huge non-conference win for LSU. So.
They won 4 out of their 6 SEC games, last SEC games until tonight.
It was getting a little dicey at halftime.
Yeah, it was.
But Darius Days is also like losing his mind.
Yes, he has been awesome.
Yeah, we should post those shirts.
We should. They're coming. Darius Days shirts.
That was an empty promise that we made, but it's actually not fully empty. We're gonna post them today as we're listening. So, all right. Well, I guess I'll give my house always wins pick. So last week I picked the Ravens team total over on Thursday night against the Dolphins. Complete fluke game. The Dolphins absolutely waxed the Ravens.
And our teaser lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get back.
My side of the teaser won.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't you? No, you picked.
I had the Bills. Bills were my side of the teaser, though.
No, yeah, Bills were his side of the teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah. His side of the teaser didn't win. Look, I'm a man of my word. Look, I called it out. I could have just said I took the Saints, not the money line, but I said I took the Saints.
All right. Packers -2.5 against the Vikings at the Vikings. Packers, good win last night against Seattle. I think the Vikings got their win against the Chargers. Still not like anything.
The Vikings are the biggest like fluky team. They're the hardest team in the NFL to bet on or against, because you don't know which team you're going to get. And I like this. I mean, that they can't put back to back good weeks together. So
yeah, and I think Aaron Rodgers, even in the snow, like he's out for blood this year, and he's
back on a full week of practice. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at maybe an out the box teaser again. How do we feel about this? Putting something together real quick. Definitely like Tampa Bay. They're at -11. You tease that down to 4.5. Monday night against the Giants. Tampa Bay coming off a loss against the Redskins. It's bounce back season. They've lost 2 in a row. I think that could be an easy Monday night cash. But also
Bills to win or Saints Saints +8.
8, yeah. Ooh.
Saints.
Colts could beat the Bills.
Against the
Eagles. I kind of like Saints +8.
All right, so we're riding the Bucks -4.5 and the Saints +8.5.
+8, not 8.5. It's a 6.5 point teaser. So
I think the Bucks they definitely need AB or Gronk to come back to get that offense really clicking.
Yeah,
I think when Tom starts missing Gronk, he gets grumpy.
I mean, just coming out, like they're not going to win. They're not going to lose 3 straight. And I think Monday night they're going to be a prime time ready. Like Tom Brady's
Tom's
gonna be ready.
pissed. Yeah.
Yep.
And the Giants really aren't that good.
All righty. Thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. Like, honestly, the amount of people that either messaged us on Instagram or texted us or saw us out at LSU on Saturday or just during the week that said, wow, y'all got Joey. Like, that was awesome. Like, the compliments mean the world to us. It was really cool. Shout out Fat Boys Pizza for hooking that up. Make sure go check out Fat Boys Pizza. If you follow them on Instagram, like every day around lunchtime, they post a picture of their pizza. It looks fantastic. So shout out Joey CHESTNUT. He's gonna get back on the grind and hopefully keep maintaining and beating his world records. Shout out to all of our sponsors, the House Bar and Tiger Lounge LLC, DraftKings, and Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, as well as the Boot Crew Media Network. And with that,
dun
LSU baseball
dun
had a 16-inning Sunday. Waxed, I believe it was the ULL.
Yeah, Raging
Cajuns. So
they didn't really wax them, but yeah.
Well, there was a grand slam hit.
There was by Tyler McManus, but then CJ Willis, former LSU player, hit a 3-run home run next inning.
Either way,
word from the scrimmage was on our quick baseball is that the offense is legit, which we all knew, but the pitching needs work.
Been saying.
If the pitching's there, this is an Omaha team.
I'll tell you what, We're going to find out in about 2 months.
We are. Dun dun.
We got to put those things back
Dun,
on the mic.
I heard that